Good Thursday morning. This weather video driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin City Subaru, and 802 Honda, all located off of Exit 7 on Interstate 89. Large-scale weather pattern right now. This is the 500 millibar heights, and you can see this sort of what we call positively tilted trough, extending southwest to northeast. Coldest here, of course, we have colder air coming in from Canada. Also cold air coming in off the Pacific, and of course this is the sort of caboose, if you will, of the series of Pacific storms, the atmospheric river that has come ashore and brought tremendous snows to parts of especially the central and northern Sierra. That is now sort of part and parcel leftovers here of a kind of a jet stream coming in from Mexico. It's all pushing in much warmer air, but colder air lurks just to the north of a cold front that is strung along. This is what the surface low pressure systems look like, and of course the 10-meter winds here. You can see some cold air blowing down into parts of the upper Central Plains, the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, and eventually into the Northeast United States over the weekend. Okay, blue lines, that means supports any kind of precipitation will be falling as snow. The red lines as rain. And indeed, this is the rainfall that's moving through. This is valid this afternoon, and so just going to move this along here. You can see colder air moves into the region. A lot of thicknesses, very tight. That usually indicates rapidly colder air advection working on in. And then an area of higher pressure. This dome of higher pressure located over New England right here, centered over Vermont, is valid, looks like 1 o'clock. That'll be on Saturday. And it extends kind of in the cold air. And these are the ones that have frequently set up in sometimes February, sometimes in January. And you can get an extended period of dry weather for several days in a row. And indeed, this is the case. Another reinforcing shot of higher pressure here, a little system moving up to the north of us. And we have the makings of a warm front, but notice the warm push of air. A lot of cold air comes down here, just like you squeeze the balloon. You squeeze the balloon here, it's going to pop up here, and this is indeed how it works. So running that along, you can see the cold air coming into the Rockies. Look at it push up the warm air in the east. Here comes another rainstorm. There's the warm front. This is valid late in the day on Tuesday. That's going to be our next weather system once we see the stuff that we're currently seeing on this Thursday move on out. And then several days of dry weather, and then that precipitation there. Little bit, a tiny bit of snow, maybe in the far northern areas. A little cold pocket here. Check that out again. And then a more heftier precipitation batch. Now, we're into next Friday, the 20th of January, and so that looks like it's a little more beefier in terms of rainfall, but nothing but rainstorms. And look at this one. That's our next rainstorm. That's 240 hours out, 22nd of January. Weather Prediction Center, this is valid through Thursday morning, January the 19th, 7 days total. Pacific Northwest catching some pretty good rain. The Sierra getting some snow. Southern California even involved a little bit. Major storm track is to the south, some 3-inch amounts here. It tries to push into Vermont. And with that sort of southwesterly jet stream here, this is what we're going to be riding a lot of these storms. And then eventually move a little bit further off to the east and south of us. And then track toward us. And hence the precipitation shot there. Let's switch over to temperature. This is the next 5-day anomaly for maximum temperatures. 3 days later, very warm, 12 degrees. That's weighted for basically next week, and that includes this weekend, so it's pretty amazing. Well, to keep the European model honest, we have the GFS Ensemble model. Always good to look at, and it pretty much agrees. This is the precipitation working in. Not very much. We're talking, 0.15 of an inch. Pretty limited. And once it goes on by, it gets cold overnight. The very, very tail end across the far northern part of Vermont can produce a tiny, tiny bit of snow. All of Vermont is not going to see that, though. A lot of areas will miss. And then we have several days of dry weather, and then followed by that. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.